What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. EA Sports is going to be dropping Team of the Week, Week 11 shortly, and I want to give you guys a heads up because I know you guys are going to be asking a very, very specific question. Am I going to be trying to moss with that limited Mike Evans? I've already showed you guys in practice mode on the hardest set in all Madden. I can moss all day. What happens in Ultimate Team, it's a very, very different feel. Mike Evans is the one of the cards that I use in practice mode. Another one you can use is Travis Kelce with the Chiefs. If you wanted to practice mossing dudes, but it's not really that prevalent because EA Sports has increased the amount of interaction with the defender to the wide receiver, so you're going to get a lot of predetermined animations where you're getting intercepted ridiculously, and it doesn't make any sense. So I wouldn't go crazy about it. Is it something that I may want to try? It's possible. The problem is I would have to get out of the tight formation, and I would have to figure that stuff out very, very, it's going to take me some time. And like I tell you guys, throughout the week when we lab and head-to-head, I don't care about the losses. It's all about weekend league. So if we can figure it out and see how it works out, he is a limited card, so we would have to figure out how we're going to get him, who we're going to replace, all that stuff, and then we'll go from there. But it is something that we can definitely try out if you guys want to go ahead and do that. So look, we're going to go ahead and talk about Greg Jennings, because a lot of you guys are, very, very excited, put the team on his back, all that crap from the older Maddens when a dude had a broken leg. Everybody remembers that video that, is in tune with Madden. I'm going to simply compare him to Chad Johnson, because what you're going to be getting is another 95 speed receiver without the team chem that is probably going to play a lot like a lot of these other players. The issue is his medium route running starts off at 86. So you can get that. It's going to go 87 with the power up, and then you can add 5, right? So you get to 92 medium route running. Is he going to play better than Chad Johnson? I don't think so. Plus, Chad Johnson is a route runner. Greg Jennings, Greg Jennings is a deep threat. So that's going to, obviously add some differentials to it. Right now, the route runners are very, very pivotal in making plays for your squad, which is why Lynn Swan, who is also a deep threat, he doesn't get those abilities that you need right now. Like this guy, he's getting like, slot apprentice, outside apprentice for 1 AP. That's very, very useful. All right. Now, they don't add a lot of benefit to the deep threats. This is why I was trying to tell you guys about Randy Moss. The biggest thing about Randy Moss is going to be that he's fast. Because EA Sports right now, you don't really get real benefit, even with the excessive deep route running. Because if you play a guy that has Deion Sanders and he has Acrobat, he's going to run with you all the way up the field. You don't need a build. Like, it's really, really bad right now because they kind of tuned the game and didn't tell us again. It's definitely not in the gridiron notes. So you're better off with a route runner, in my opinion, than you are with a deep threat, which is kind of weird because you should want to go after that deep pass. Now, if your opponent takes it away, which a lot of people are very good at taking away the deep pass, then you got to work in a different type of scheme, underneath, crossers, drags, stuff like that, Texas route to the running back, things like that. But the deep route runners or deep threats don't get a lot of love. They just don't. And it's very, very ridiculous because what happens is when you go to make a move and you put your foot in the ground in this game, the defender already is like 5 to 10 steps ahead of you. Like, it's already done. Like, it's not even a situation where it's like, okay, this guy's going to go ahead and burn the player, even with, route technician. So I just wanted to make sure you guys understand that because it's going to play a part in the fact that, with the way that the deep threats go, I'll bring up, Scary Terry right now. With the deep threats, it's very, very difficult to try to get the right abilities. So you have no choice but to just give, a deep threat deep end. At this time right now, while the abilities are the way they are, let's take a look at what's going to be available to a deep threat wide receiver. All these, the deep out, deep in, mid out, you got outside for 2. All these things are very, very expensive. So you have no real benefit because EA has made the deep threat kind of, it's not worth it. Matchup Nightmare lights up, but it doesn't really do anything. So you're like kind of stuck with, different things. Now, look, remember, some of these things can get activated inside of his card depending on the other abilities that are there. All right, like if his certain things, like he achieves a 95 overall, there are other things that can be unlocked. Unfortunately for us, Greg Jennings is coming out with a whopping, dude, he's a team of the week player and he's not that good. So none of these things, I don't expect them to additionally unlock. Human joystick 10 AP. You know what's weird about this, guys? It makes me think, what is going to be the AP that EA ultimately wants to give us? Like, what's going to be that number that they're going to give us, like, at the end of the year? Because if they're doing wild stuff like this and saying 10 AP for that, that should have all of us thinking, are they going to go to 20 AP soon? Like, what are they doing as far as this goes? What are they going to be doing? Because it doesn't really make much sense with that number. And which one of the players are going to get it? I guess we have to go through all of them to see which one of them will get it for a lot cheaper. But that's ridiculous, just so that everybody understands that. But I'm pretty sure the running back situation will be a lot less. I just wanted to point that out to you. That's what was going on. So look, he's going to be a 92 overall, Greg Jennings. So they can't unlock these things yet. Once the deep threats can unlock route technician like this, then they become more formidable. So maybe Randy Moss will unlock route technician and he'll be that good and break the game. I don't know. But again, these are just some of the things I wanted to point out because you guys have a lot of interesting questions, and I appreciate you leaving that information and trying to figure out more, because the worst thing that can happen is you go out there with Greg Jennings and the dude's garbage and you already had Chad Ochocinco and you sold him. So just understand that you're not getting the same thing. Now, I'm going to go over to Chad Johnson's card and show you pretty much what I do with that card. So he's getting 3 AP right now for me. All right. He has route technician and he has slot apprentice. So because he gets that for 1 and he gets this for 2, it works out for me, because even though in some cases where they play man-to-man and the dudes just won't leave you alone, he will get open in certain instances where other players won't. So that's definitely a plus, right? Everything else that comes with the deep route runner of Greg Jennings, you're not getting this for that rate. And there really is no advantage because you can't moss with him because he's too short, and there's nothing else really going on with him other than trying to put him on a post with deep out, deep in, whatever, and trying to get him to go deep. That's it. There is absolutely nothing else you can do about it. So in my opinion, that's going to be a problem as far as the rate of his card. I don't expect his card to be expensive, because people are going to realize that it's better to spend the money on Chad Johnson right now until further notice. It just doesn't make any sense to go any other route. Now, let's go over to Mike Evans, because that would actually change the game. For those of you guys that are wondering, like, Gmia, you haven't mossed since you started doing it back. I was doing it in September and October, and I showed you guys that it's in the game. It's just not as effective as it was in 20. So we had to adjust and run a different offense to kind of adjust to what the game is doing with all the tuning and the predetermined animations, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mike Evans so you guys can more or less get an idea of what's going to be happening. Because if you guys decide to get him, he's going to have benefits because he has decent route running, right? But he's only going to go to a 94 speed on a regular team. So now for me, I would be dropping 1 speed point from Chad Ochocinco and dropping 2 from McLaurin, and then DK Metcalf dropping 2. Do I really care that much about a physical receiver that can't moss somebody, that can't jump when it's time to jump? It doesn't make any sense, but that's part of the game. So now, once his limited drops, I don't expect his limited to be as exclusive because he doesn't have the speed. And if you just think about it this way, right? Harold Carmichael is 6'8", and people are not even looking at his card. So just think about it like that, because I'm not trying to be a downer for you guys like, he's probably decent. No, he's not. He's not. And you can kind of figure it, like, if you want to go ahead and put him in on routes and you want to run, shallow crosses and all that crap, you can do whatever you want. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try it out. I'm just letting you know that I already have. I've experimented with all these players. And when you have a 6'8" guy, all right, people are not even looking at this card. So it doesn't really make any sense for us to try to believe that all of a sudden Mike Evans is going to be that deal. And realistically speaking, like I said, Antrell Roll is going to be part of this team of the week as well. And the Cardinals' defense is really, really wild. So you're playing against a lot of psychopaths that run a lot of man-to-man coverage and do a lot of weird things. You're not going to get open. And then if it goes to one-on-one, they're going to jump, and EA doesn't allow you to jump. So if this guy at 6'8" can't jump and moss anybody, what's Mike Evans going to do? So those are just some of the things that I wanted to point out to you guys. There is no advantage. EA has done a horrific job of making hype sustain itself offensively. So because of that situation, I can't get excited about any of the cards. Like Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson are pretty much going to be on post and crossers. This is the first year that I'm like, all right, I can't moss this dude. Like maybe I can moss him on regular seam streaks, but the outside capability, EA did a lot to kind of limit that from happening on the outsides. So I just want to make sure that everybody is fully aware of that. It is something that you should be aware of. You're not going to be able to do much with Mike Evans, unfortunately. Now, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers theme team, he's going to go to a 96 speed. So with that height and that speed, you could eliminate either DK Metcalf or Scary Terry, but I don't know how many of you guys are running a Bucs theme team. Because to be honest, there's not a lot of Buck players that are really good right now in the game. You know, you had Lynch earlier in the year. Like, it's not a lot. So it's not really something that you would probably want to gear yourself up for right now. So I just want to make sure that, you know, I keep you guys aware of what is actually happening. It's going to be something to where, you know, he's going to be a limited card that quick sells for 250, and he probably will sell for about 400 because nobody will care about the card. Now, if EA in next gen makes height matter again and they keep that going, that will change Madden back along the way that it used to be, where people have to now double cover and do certain things that'll take that away from you, because if a guy is big like that, that's usually what they do if the player is decent. So there's a lot of things that we can work on with that, but for me right now, I don't think that those players are, you know, players that you should actually actively be going after. It just doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to do that. So that's just what I wanted to point out about Greg Jennings, because many of you guys were getting ready to sell Chad Johnson. I still believe right now that Chad is your best bet. Like, he's just your best bet. There is no, like, I can't sit here and tell you guys that there's anyone else at this time when you're watching this video before week 11 team of the week content, that there's a better card to use all purpose than Chad Johnson. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. You guys go ahead and have a great day. Let me know what you're looking out for. I'm going to see you guys next time. One love, y'all.